I flew across the country without warning my son, trusting nothing except the uneasy ache in my chest. Before we begin, just a small request: hit the like button to support our stories. And tell me in the comments where you're watching from and how you're doing. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a new story. Your one like, one comment, and one subscribe truly encourages us and keeps us going. The airport smelled like burnt espresso and rushing people, but instead of excitement, a cold heaviness sat in my stomach. For 3 days, my son Ian hadn't answered a single call. His wife Mara had also gone silent. A mother's intuition isn't poetry, it's an alarm bell. And mine had been screaming. I bought a ticket, grabbed 2 jars of homemade berry jam for them, and flew out before sunrise. I told myself I was overreacting, but as I reached their beautiful old brick building I had bought for them after the wedding, that coldness in my chest hardened. The condo door wasn't fully closed, just slightly ajar, like someone left in a hurry. Inside, the smell hit me first: stale, smoke, spoiled food, something sour. Not the warm home Mara used to keep. Not the smell of her cinnamon bread. This was neglect, carelessness, abandonment. Unwashed dishes towered on the counter. Empty beer bottles rolled under my shoes. But worst of all was the unopened package of medicine on the table: heart and blood pressure pills. Prescribed to Mara months earlier. Dust coated the box. A neighbor appeared behind me, an elderly woman with sad eyes. "You must be Ian's mother," she said softly. "Honey, your daughter-in-law was taken away by ambulance maybe 3 days ago. She collapsed. Nobody has been back since." The world tilted. I barely remember getting into a taxi, only the hospital name repeating in my head. City General. City General. City General. Inside the ICU, the doctor's words fell like stones. Severe pneumonia. Extreme dehydration. Malnutrition. She's been sick for days with no care. If the neighbors hadn't called, she would not have made it. When I saw her lying there, thin, pale, wires everywhere, my breath caught. This wasn't neglect. This was cruelty disguised as indifference. I stumbled outside for air, and that's when a midnight blue SUV screeched past the hospital entrance. Loud music, laughter, 2 young women hanging out the windows, and my son driving, laughing, celebrating, while his wife fought for her life. Then my phone buzzed. A message from him. "Mom, I'm at the hospital with Mara. Haven't left her side. Pray for us." And that's when something inside me shattered, and something else awakened. But that moment, standing under the hospital lights, I made a decision that would change every life connected to mine, including his. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I didn't even reply to his message. Instead, I walked back inside the hospital with a calmness so sharp it frightened even me. My son's lies, Mara's frail body, the abandoned apartment, it all aligned into one horrifying truth. I had protected the wrong person for too long. I sat in the waiting area, took one slow breath, and dialed 911. "Hello, I'd like to report my vehicle stolen," I said, steady as steel. I gave them the make, the model, the plate number, the very SUV I had bought him for family safety. But tonight, I stripped him of the privilege he believed he deserved. That wasn't enough. I called Delilah, my oldest friend and the sharpest attorney I knew. She answered on the second ring. "You sound like you're about to reorganize the universe," she said. "Close," I replied. "I'm reorganizing my life." Within minutes, she understood everything without me explaining much. "Come to my office at 8. We'll prepare the documents." I returned to Mora's room. Her hand felt like warm paper in mine. Machines hummed softly around her. I whispered promises she couldn't yet hear. A few hours later, the call came from the police. "Ma'am, we have detained your vehicle. The driver claims to be your son." I glanced at Marin, conscious, small, fighting. "My son," I said quietly, "is beside his wife in the ICU. Whoever you arrested is lying." A pause. Then the officer replied, "Understood. We will proceed accordingly." I hung up without a tremor. By morning, after hours of watching over Mara, I went straight to Delilah's office. Papers awaited me: fresh ink, sharp edges, a full transfer of the condo ownership. Not to Ian, to Mara. I signed without hesitation. The weight lifted instantly. Delilah pulled out another file. "You need to see this," she said gently. Inside were documents showing Ian had forged a power of attorney to use the condo as collateral for a loan. My hands didn't shake. I had no shock left in me. "He was going to lose the home you bought," she said. "No," I corrected softly. "He was going to lose her. And he almost did." Next, I called the dealership to collect the SUV directly from police impound and sell it the same day. Every cent would go toward Mara's care. By the time I returned to the hospital, the paperwork was filed, the title was transferred, and the car sale was underway. Ian still had no idea that his world had already begun to collapse, but reality hit him hardened when he came crashing through the hospital doors. The real confrontation began. I didn't have to wait long for him. About an hour after the dealership confirmed the SUV was being sold off, the elevator doors burst open and Ian stumbled into the hospital lobby. His clothes were wrinkled, his hair unkempt, and the arrogance he usually wore like a crown was cracked and falling apart. He stormed toward me. "Mom, what did you do?" he shouted, loud enough for nurses to flinch. "They kept me in jail for 2 days. You reported me. Your own son." I closed my book calmly. "You smell like cheap liquor and old anger. Lower your voice before someone mistakes you for a wild animal." He blinked. He wasn't used to this version of me. "You're unbelievable," he snarled. "Give me the keys. I'm going to see Mara. She'll clear everything up, and we're leaving." "You're not leaving," I said. "And you're not seeing her," he scoffed. "Try stopping me." He spun around and marched toward the ICU doors, only to be stopped instantly by a private security guard I had hired 2 hours earlier. A man built like a wall. "No unauthorized male visitors," he said firmly, pushing Ian back with one hand. "My wife is in there." Ian shrieked. "I have rights." "Your presence is agitating the patient," the guard replied. "Step back." I could hear the machines in Mara's room reacting to the noise, her heart rate spiking. Ian tried to shove past, but he was no match. The guard pushed him out into the hallway. "Mom, say something," he yelled at me, face red with rage. I stood. "Take him out of the unit," I said softly. The guard didn't need more. He escorted Ian out to a quiet corridor down the hall. Ian stumbled, his shoes sliding on the floor. Then suddenly he dropped to his knees. Full theatrics. He grabbed my coat, tears and snot mixing on his face. "Mom, please. Help me. I messed up. I know, but I love Mara. I'm scared. People are after me. If you don't bail me out, they'll hurt me. Please, I'm your son." Real tears or performance? Impossible to tell. His entire life was a stage. "Stand up," I said. "No," he wailed louder, hoping someone would overhear. "Not until you forgive me. Not until you give me back the condo and the car. Get up." This time my tone sliced through him. He rose slowly, wiping his face like a child caught lying. "Where's the car?" he demanded. "Give me the keys." "The car is gone," I answered. "Sold. The money is paying for Mara's recovery." His mouth fell open. "What? And the condo," I added, pulling out the signed deed. "The home you used as a weapon. It now belongs solely to her. You have no claim." He stared, eyes widening, pupils shaking. The last bit of control he believed he had but losing the car and condo was just the beginning. What came next shattered him completely and finally set Mara free. He stared at the deed like it was a death certificate. This isn't real." His voice trembled not with guilt, but with panic. "You can't do this," he stammered. "Mom, I'm her husband. If she doesn't make it everything, comes to me anyway. There it was. The monstrous thought he tried to hide. I looked him dead in the eyes. Stop waiting for her to die. Because even if she did, you'd inherit nothing. I pulled out another document, my updated will. He snatched it, skimmed the highlighted line, and froze. All my assets, I read aloud, shall be donated to the Silver Paws Rescue Shelter. His jaw dropped. You're giving everything to a bunch of cats. At least they don't drain the life out of the people feeding them. You're insane. He exploded. I'll contest this. I'll tell the court you're incompetent. They'll side with me, I'm your only child. Funny you mention incompetence, I said calmly. I got a psychiatric evaluation this morning. I'm documented as completely sound. He paled. Whatever he planned to fight with had just been ripped away. And one more thing, I added. The condo now has new locks. If you step foot there without Mara's permission, the police will treat it as a break-in. His eyes flicked with real terror now. The debts, he whispered. Mom, they'll come for me. They'll kill me. Then pay what you owe, I said. Work, earn, survive like the rest of the world. You're a monster, he hissed. You're not a mother. I was. You just never learned how to be a son. 2 hospital security officers appeared at the end of the hallway, summoned by the commotion. Ian backed away, clutching the edge of his shirt. This isn't over, he shouted as he ran toward the stairwell. You'll regret this. But his threats felt as empty as his bank account. Months later, the apartment, now Mara's apartment, looked nothing like the one I had walked into before. Soft colors, sunlight, the smell of cocoa and clean laundry. Life lived here again. Mara had recovered slowly, step by step, as though her soul had to relearn safety. She had a new job restoring old books at the library. She laughed more now. One evening, while walking to buy her favorite pastries, I passed a car wash. A man in a soaked gray jumpsuit was scrubbing a muddy truck with trembling hands. Ian, thin, weathered, exhausted. He looked up and saw me. Mama, he whispered. I didn't stop. I didn't speak. I didn't even blink. For the first time in his life, he understood what consequences felt like. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. An unknown number. Ma, please. Just a little help. Anything. Even $10 for food. I blocked the number without replying. Some endings aren't dramatic. Some are simply final. Mara smiled when I returned home. Did you get the cinnamon rolls? Yes, I said, and meant it when I added, let's enjoy this new life. If this story touched your heart, tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story so more people remember. No matter how old you are, it's never too late to stand up for yourself.